Hi friends, this is a video about phylum Dinoflagellata. Phylum Dinoflagellates are the members under kingdom Protista, and we know that kingdom Protista is a collection of polyphyletic taxa of eukaryotic and mostly unicellular organisms. Its members are extremely diverse in their form, organization, mode of life, adaptation, and so on. So, the classification of protists are based on their resemblance to multicellular eukaryotes. Protists are classified under three major groups, namely fungus-like protists, plant-like protists, and animal-like protists. Phylum Dinoflagellates belongs to plant-like protists. This is a flowchart about the classification of kingdom Protista. We said that phylum Dinoflagellates belongs to plant-like protists. Then what's a plant-like protist? Plant-like protists, also called algal protists, are chlorophyll-bearing photosynthetic protists. They constitute the major producer of the biosphere. They include the diatoms, dinoflagellates, euglenoid flagellates, the yellow-green algae, and the golden-brown algae. Plant-like protists belongs to six phyla, namely Dinoflagellata, Bacillariophyta, Euglenophyta, Cryptophyta, Chlorophyta, and Rhodophyta. Here, now we are discussing about the phylum Dinoflagellata. Phylum Dinoflagellata, also called Dinophyta or Pyrophyta. Dinoflagellates are protists which have been classified using both the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature and the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Approximately half living dinoflagellate species are autotroph possessing chloroplasts and half are non-photosynthesizing heterotrophs. Is a large group of Phylum Dinoflagellata is a large group of biflagellate photosynthetic or heterotrophic protists. The body is enclosed within a shell called lorica or theca. Nearly 2000 species of living dinoflagellates have been identified so far. The common examples are Noctiluca, Keratium, Gymnodinium, Glenodinium, Peridinium, Gonilax. Most dinoflagellates are marine forms and some are freshwater forms. Together with the diatoms, they constitute the most important primary producers of the marine ecosystem. Some forms, such as zooxanthellae, are endosymbionts of marine animals and they play an important role in the biology of coral reefs. Because of dense populations of some marine dinoflagellates, they cause the phenomenon of red tide, which makes the sea surface red in color. Red tide can be disastrous to other marine life because these dense populations compete with other organisms for oxygen and produce toxic substances, which is cause air pollution resulting in respiratory complaints in the pupil living nearby. The cause of red tide is not definitely understood. This is the peak of red tide. Also, the dinoflagellates have the ability to emit light, which makes the sea surface glowing in darkness. This phenomenon is called bioluminescence. Light is produced by the oxidation of the protein luciferin by the enzyme luciferase. This is the bioluminescence caused by dinoflagellates. Next, we talk about the motility of dinoflagellates. The body of Dinoflagellata has two portions, epitheca and hypotheca. Epitheca is the anterior part and hypotheca is the posterior portion. Longitudinal flagella arises from the sulcal groove. It's in the hypotheca or posterior portion, and it helps to move forward the dinoflagellates. This is the structure of dinoflagellate. Next, we can talk about Noctiluca, example of dinoflagellates. Noctiluca, popularly known as sea sparkle, was a large-sized, pelagic, non-thecate and luminescent marine dinoflagellate. The body of Noctiluca is transparent, bilateral and covered by chitinous pellicle. The whole content within the pellicle is called polar mass. It consists of cytoplasm, nucleus, flagella and the cytostom. Cytoplasm is highly vacuolated. It consists of a central mass and a marginal layer. Joining the central mass and the marginal layer are the numerous protoplasmic strands. In between this protoplasmic strands are non-contractile vacuoles, which is filled with a gelatinous material. This vacuole increases the buoyancy of the body. Central cytoplasm contains the nucleus, and peripheral cytoplasm and the protoplasmic strands contain light-emitting granules called photogenic granules. These granules contain the protein luciferin. This is we discussed in the dinoflagellate, and the enzyme called luciferase. Light is produced by the oxidation of luciferin by luciferase. This Noctiluca is a bioluminescent organism. Noctiluca is a bioluminescent organism. Ventrally, it has a depressed oral pouch, where from a rudimentary flagellum used for food collection is emerging. Oral pouch expands to a peristome or cytopharynx that opens out by cytostome. Leading from the border of the cytostome is a prehensile tentacle which is used for locomotion and food capture. Noctiluca maintains its vertical posture in the water column by regulating its buoyancy. This, in turn, is affected by regulating the ionic concentration in its cytoplasm. Nutrition in the Noctiluca is holozoic. Food includes phytoplankton and zooplankton. Reproduction is by binary fission or by hologamy. In hologamy, two fully grown individuals behave as gametes and fuse together. In this case, Noctiluca divides first meiotically and then mitotically to produce haploid and uniflagellate isogametes. They fuse in pairs and form diploid zygote. The zygote undergoes multiple fission and sporulation and forms zoospores. Each spore develops to a noctiluca. Sometimes noctiluca undergoes rapid multiplication and form large populations, which cover vast areas of the sea surface. This phenomenon is called blooming, and it makes the whole area red colored during daytime. This phenomenon is called red tide or red water. At night, the blooming organisms become luminescent and emit blue light. This is the structure of Noctiluca. The topic phylum Dinoflagellata is over. Thank you.